The hum of the dishwasher was the soundtrack to my quiet evening. Ember, my wife of 10 years, was upstairs supposedly working on a presentation. I swirled the last of the Cabernet in my glass, the rich scent a familiar comfort in our meticulously renovated kitchen. We'd poured our hearts, souls, and a hefty chunk of our savings into this house. It was our dream, a testament to our shared future. Or so I thought. My phone buzzed on the counter. A wrong number, judging by the unfamiliar area code. I almost ignored it, but curiosity, that insidious little gremlin, nudged me. I tapped the notification. It was a picture message. My breath hitched. It was Ember, undeniably Ember, but not the Ember I knew, the one upstairs in our shared dream house. This Ember was naked, posed provocatively, her eyes glazed with a lust I'd never seen directed at me. Her lips parted, whispering a silent invitation. My stomach lurched. The blood roared in my ears, drowning out the gentle hum of the dishwasher. My fingers trembled as I reread the message beneath the picture. Can't wait to feel you inside me again, baby. Meet me at the usual place. The usual place. The rage, raw and burning, began to eclipse the initial shock. I scrolled back through my text history, finding the number she'd mistakenly sent it to. It belonged to a contact named Tom. Tom, the name echoed in my mind, a discordant note in the symphony of my life. My first instinct was to confront her, to scream, to rage. But something held me back. A cold, calculating calmness settled over me. I wanted answers. I wanted proof. I wanted revenge. Over the next few days, I moved through life in a daze, a ghost in my own home. I watched Ember, searching for any telltale sign, any flicker of guilt. She was impeccable, the picture of a devoted wife. The dissonance between the image on my phone and the woman before me was jarring. It fueled my resolve. I started following Tom. It wasn't difficult. He was brazen, posting pictures of himself at a local gym, flexing his mediocre muscles. His social media presence screamed insecurity masked by bravado. I learned his full name, his occupation, even his address. He was a personal trainer at the same gym Ember had recently joined. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. I hired a private investigator. It was expensive, draining the savings account we'd earmarked for a family vacation, a vacation that now seemed like a cruel joke. The investigator confirmed my suspicions. He provided photos, dates, times, a detailed chronicle of their affair. The usual place turned out to be a cheap motel on the outskirts of town. The irony wasn't lost on me. We had a beautiful home, a life built on supposed love and trust, and she chose that. The day of the confrontation arrived like a storm cloud. I called Ember, telling her I had a surprise for her. She sounded excited, oblivious to the impending hurricane. I drove to the motel, the investigator's photos clutched in my hand, each one a fresh stab to my heart. I waited. It wasn't long before Tom's familiar car pulled up. He swaggered out, a smug grin on his face. He disappeared inside, unaware that I was parked just across the street, my phone camera recording his every move. A few minutes later, Ember arrived. She looked radiant, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. She practically skipped into the motel room. My hands clenched on the steering wheel, the leather creaking under the pressure. I waited another hour, letting the anticipation, theirs and mine, build. Then, I walked to the room, the investigator's photos tucked into my jacket pocket. I knocked. The muffled sounds of hurried movements came from within. The door opened a crack, revealing Ember, her face flushed, her hair disheveled. Her eyes widened in horror when she saw me. "Surprise," I said, my voice a low growl. I pushed past her, entering the room. Tom stood there, half-dressed, his face a mask of confusion and fear. The air was thick with the stench of cheap perfume and stale cigarettes. It was a fitting backdrop for the scene that was about to unfold. I threw the photos onto the bed. Ember's face drained of color. Tom stammered, trying to explain, but I cut him off. The rage I'd held back for days finally erupted. I lunged at him, my fists connecting with his jaw. He crumpled to the floor, whimpering. I didn't stop. Each punch was a release, a small measure of retribution for the betrayal that had shattered my world. Ember screamed, begging me to stop. But I couldn't. The pain was too raw, too deep. Finally, I stood over him, panting, my knuckles raw and bleeding. He lay there, a broken, pathetic mess. I turned to Ember, my voice trembling with a mixture of rage and grief. You disgust me, I spat. This is what you chose over us. Over our home, over our life together, she sobbed, her words choked with guilt and fear. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I laughed, a hollow, empty sound. Sorry doesn't even begin to cover it. I walked out of the motel room, leaving them in the wreckage of their sordid affair. The drive home was a blur. I felt numb, detached, as if I were watching someone else's life unfold. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of lawyers, paperwork, and the painful dismantling of our shared life. Ember tried to apologize, to explain, but her words were meaningless. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. The house, once our dream, now felt like a prison. I sold it, taking only what was rightfully mine. I cut all ties with Ember, refusing to let her back into my life. Tom, I later learned, lost his job at the gym. His reputation tarnished, he slunk away from town, a disgraced reminder of Ember's infidelity. I found a grim satisfaction in his downfall, but it didn't ease the ache in my heart. The healing process was long and arduous. There were days filled with anger, days consumed by grief, and days when the emptiness threatened to swallow me whole. But slowly, painfully, I began to rebuild my life. I moved to a new city, started a new job, and began to forge new friendships. The scars of betrayal remained, a permanent reminder of the pain I had endured. But they also served as a testament to my resilience, my ability to survive and emerge stronger from the ashes of a broken dream. The hum of a new dishwasher fills my new kitchen now, a different sound, in a different place, marking the beginning of a new chapter. The past is a ghost, a whisper in the quiet moments, but it no longer holds me captive. I am free.